Hello, good morning. It's about 7:45 on a Sunday in mid-October. It's only just got light actually. It's a bit nippy. I'm still in shorts, but only just, but I'm certainly in long sleeves and a woolly hat and some gloves to start off with. Today I'm going to go and have a look and share with you a place that I referred to at the end of my last video. I've passed it many times, as will other people have done, and I didn't even know it was there until I read a newspaper article recently. Again, I'll tell you more about that later. Meantime, I'm just crossing the River Avon. That's Lidl's car park just behind me, and I'll be heading out that way towards the Severn Bridge and just over the border into Wales. I'm now 23 miles into my ride and I'm rapidly approaching our destination. This is the approach to the old Severn Bridge. The Severn Bridge that was first built and opened in 1966, and it carried this M4 motorway connecting Wales and England for nearly 30 years, and then it was downgraded to the M48 spur in the early 1990s when the second Severn Bridge crossing then became the M4, the Prince of Wales Bridge. And I'm going to turn left here because a friend of mine, Brian, told me about that recently, and it'll tie in with what I want to do. I'll explain. What we're heading for is right underneath that Severn Bridge, but it'll be on the left hand side. Because I come in from Bath, I normally go that way because there's a cycle path on either carriageway, the right hand side and the left hand side. Because I come from Bath, I normally take the right hand side. Sometimes you're forced onto the left hand side if the right hand one's closed for maintenance. And I quite often got to a busy roundabout there, have to get myself around there to get to the alternative path. But my friend Brian from All That's Club Bristol told me recently, said use the tunnel like he does, and I couldn't picture it. And then I went home and looked at it, I thought, yeah, this makes complete sense. So we're going to go through here, through the village of Alst, and we should come out right opposite the junction we need. Where those bikes are, that's what we're heading for, so we've just got to cut across this gap in the carriageway. Oh yeah, right. You can see I've just crossed that main road there. You come up a slight slope and then you turn right. Now it is the public footpath service area and also Chepstow M4. So you can go along here, cut across the bridge into the old M48 services, or you can carry straight on what we're doing and going to go over on the left hand side of the Severn Bridge. Right. Oh, hello, didn't recognise you. How you doing? I'm right. You back down here now? Just as I was talking to you back there, did you see that Mini that pulled up? And I thought, oh, typical, I need to get out of the way. Actually, I wasn't in his way. He had followed me to catch me up. It was somebody I used to work with when I was a postman, and he's moved up north now. He's up somewhere near Carnforth, famous for a brief encounter up that way. And I just sort of said to him, oh gosh, hello, how are you? Are you living back down here now? And he said, no, I'm just heading up back north. So I told him that was it. I haven't seen him for 10-15 years since he left the post office to transfer north. What a small world, eh? Anyway. I'm just loving this. It's about time I told you the theme of this ride then, isn't it? There we are, looking back at the pier with the pylon on, the old ferry pier I believe along there, or the smoke and the industry of Avonmouth there, and the second Severn crossing. That's the new M4, that's the Prince of Wales Bridge. But that little island down there is called St Twroggs Island, Twroggs. It's actually quite difficult to pronounce, I find it so anyway. And see, there's a little structure on it, I'll zoom in shortly. That, I believe, is the remains of a 13th century chapel. And you can walk out there at low tide, you've got about 2 hours. But most of the locals will not do it, it's far too dangerous. This is a really treacherous stretch of water. But at the end of the video, I'll give you a link to someone who has gone out there, and you can see that chapel very close up. You can see him wading across to it as well, and there's something quite unusual there as well. More about that shortly. That's 3x zoom. Hopefully when we get down there a bit closer we might get some better views. But I've never noticed it before, and I bet a lot of people who live over here and cycle over here have never noticed it either. On my Google News page, I quite often get things, I guess it's the algorithm, making suggestions of what I may be interested in. And a lot of media, especially local newspapers, I'll often avoid because it's just clickbait. There was one, I forget what the exact title was, but I clicked the link, you know, rejected all the cookies and everything, and it was about here. And I just thought, gosh, I never knew that existed. And I'll put the links out in the description below because it's quite a good article. You can click onto it. It's a local newspaper, it's Somerset Live, and you can reject the cookies if that's how you feel. It's what I do. As you can see, I've got a cheap pair of binoculars. I think they're just Tesco's from Argos. We quite often sit in our front garden in the summer and look up at the seagulls and all the young chicks. But I'm going to try and zoom into the chapel. I've just looked in with the binoculars, and you don't rest on this because there's so much vibration. This really is a suspended carriageway over the rivers, the Severn and the Wye. So there's lots of vibration, especially as lorries go by. You can feel it come rumble all up through your body. If you try and lean on here, you get so much vibration. I've just zoomed in. There looks like there's a kind of tower structure, but I know from looking at close-up photographs in this video footage, that's the arch of a door. But right next to it, there's some kind of telecommunications tower there, and it's solar powered. So it's actually part of the local infrastructure. Can you see there's some kind of utilities building there by the pylon? Whether we can get right up there or not, I really don't know. I'm going to get as close as I can to get a better view down at that level. Thanks to the wonders of satellite technology, I can see on my Garmin we're about to cross the road we're going to take later on. So our bold black line is that one. We're heading that way. We're going to do a big loop up through Chepstow and then come along here, and we're right overhead of where we're going to come. It's a track down there. Look, there's some cars there, and then it turns into a gravel track. So that should take us along towards that white circular structure along there. It'll take us about an hour to 90 minutes to get down there. So I think the next shot will be down there looking up at here. So this is the old Wales side of the ferry, and then the other one is over there somewhere. I think it's by that house over there. So you can sort of see it's quite a diagonal ferry crossing, treacherous by all accounts. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to go up here and turn left where that car's going. Okay. We're now going to go underneath the Severn Bridge. So this would be the eastbound carriageway. We want to cross underneath to that westbound carriageway where I spoke to you about an hour ago. And then, yeah, at the end of this car park where those two guys are in the hoodies, there's a steel gate. That's where the track goes. That is such a bizarre view. This is definitely a car park with a difference. Right underneath the M48 Severn Bridge. You can see there's the anchor point for one of the towers, and then much further over would be the second anchor point. But the carriageway itself is actually suspended in mid-air. I understand that they were floated down in sections down the River Wye and then lifted up from the towers and then joined and welded together. You can just about see the joins. They're only about 50 feet long, if that. And I understand each one weighed 35 tons. Weird. All you can hear is the occasional banging. Can't hear the noise of the traffic, you can hear the impact of the banging, presumably on the joints. So there's quite a few hundred tons up above me there. Okay, so we're going past that gate, down the track, and let's see how far we can get. Okay, this is where we're heading. I just can't stop looking at that in awe. The engineering involved, it's incredible. Quite excited about this because I've no idea how far it goes, we shall see. The surface is actually quite compact and hardcore along here, which sort of makes sense really, doesn't it? Because we're heading towards that big pylon and what like some kind of infrastructure building, sub-power station possibly. MOD land on the right hand side, so limited access along here. Looks like you have to keep to the path. And very shortly it opens out right underneath that pylon, which is going across the Severn next to the bridge, so it cannot be too far along here. Certainly getting some good views along here today, unusual views. There's a sub-power station, so kind of want some access to the coast so we get some views. So it really is just a couple of 100 yards along. You can see, gosh, look at all those vehicles, the lorries and the cars, just look like miniature toys, don't they? I'm just going to go down here. Hopefully we'll get some views of the coast on that little island. Around the back of the substation, get some views of the Prince of Wales Bridge, the new M4 bridge. Very, very different design. Okay, footpath down here, looking back at the M48 bridge, and the pylons, over towards Avonmouth, and there's a pillbox here, Second World War. All the First World War ones are on the east coast. And there it is. It's also known as Chapel Rock, and I understand it's also known as Treacle Island. I googled that, but all I could get up was something to do with a company based on the Isle of Scilly. Wow, what an amazing place. Behind the substation, looking at all the small vehicles going over the Severn Bridge, they look like toys. I'm just going to share this article with you. This is the one that inspired me. So it's from Somerset Live. It says, explore the mysterious chapel on an island hidden below the Severn Bridge. I just had to click that, and I'm so glad I did. It says, the chapel has roots dating back to the 1200s. There's a picture of it. The island, which has had several names over the years, is home to the ruins of a historic chapel. Tells you a bit about the bridge there. Beneath this bridge lies an island shrouded in mystery, known by many names including St Troggs Island, St Tecla's Island, Treacle Island and Chapel Rock. This island is home to the ruins of a 13th century chapel. Most drivers, and I would say cyclists, pedestrians as well, would be oblivious to its existence. Well, I was until I read this article. The chapel seen today isn't the original one on the island, which is connected with Beachley. This is the peninsula we're on. Originally dedicated to St Tecla, also known as Treacle, and later to St Twroggs, also known as Ryock or Trog, the chapel was abandoned around the mid-16th century. It's suggested that the island's location in the middle of the Severn estuary, being just about 10 feet above high water mark and subject to tidal fluctuations, led to its abandonment. Today, remnants of the chapel still exist. 2 walls and the remains of a round arched doorway are visible, while some parts of the wall can be found beneath the island's surface. Interestingly, amongst these ruins stands a solar-powered signal tower. I guess it's all part of the infrastructure around here, communications. It's feasible to reach the island by foot from the mainland. However, the journey from Beachley to Chapel Rock involves navigating over slippery rocks and mud, mostly covered by seaweed, within a 2-hour window either side of low tide. I will share a link to a video at the end of this, and you'll see literally somebody walking out there, and you'll get a point of view video of it. So somebody's been there and done it, but when you read the comments underneath, all the locals think it's too hazardous to attempt. I certainly would not attempt it, but I will share a link to that video, and I'll try and link it to the point where the journey over to the rock begins. That's about as far as I can zoom in on this camera, but I've just got my binoculars out, and there seems to be what looks like a wooden cross above it as well. The actual structure of the building, separate from that tower with the solar panel on top. All the wind turbines and everything, you can see the industry in the background. That would be Avonmouth Docks. Pretty amazing place. And again, I didn't know about the pillbox either actually. It's really set on the cliff. I was going to try and read what that says, but I just think it's too dangerous to get up there. Some kind of plaque embedded in it. Not sure what that's all about. Some kind of ventilation possibly. Right underneath that pylon. Heading over the Severn to that one over there. I'm not sure what the time is, but I'm getting a little bit peckish, so I'm guessing it's lunchtime. I'm going to head back and find somewhere to have my lunch. I brought a lunch with me, either in Chepstow or possibly somewhere before, if I see a church or bus shelter or something, and then head back over the bridge. As I said, it would take me in excess of an hour to get back up there, so I know that. It took me an hour to get down here. When I get back up on the bridge, I'll finish the video there, and I'll share a few plans I've got coming up in the next few videos, hopefully. That way, the Chepstow side, all you can hear is the rumbling of traffic. And then about here, you start to hear the traffic itself, the noise of the traffic, the tyres going over. Pretty amazing view, isn't it? So the last couple of short videos, experiments, I've been using the DJI Mimo app. It's the one which Bluetooths and links to this camera wirelessly. But DJI actually recommend that one, and it's called Lights Cut, and it must be closely linked to them because the interface is very similar, but you just get more options. So it's ever so easy to use. Well, I'm hoping it is. If you're watching this, you'll know I've managed it okay. I did say at the end of the Wessex Cycle Tour Day 2, when I explained about my computer just going mental, I did say I would experiment, so just bear with me a little bit while my video's a bit rough and ready around the edges. The first one, the US Coast to Coast Tour, just a montage of pictures and some music, was done on my new Chromebook. I love the Chromebook. I just wish I'd gone over to it years ago. I find it ever so easy to pick up because my wife's been using one for quite a few years now, and she pretty much showed me on hers how it all works and let me practice. So I've actually entered some audaxes and submitted the files for verification, and I just find everything works fine on that. But with the onboard editor, you probably noticed the music just suddenly stopped. I couldn't work out how to fade it out. And so I'm going to persevere with the apps. The next couple of videos were on the DJI Mimo app, but actually this new Light Cut app looks even better, so that's what this will have been edited on. I'm still trying to work out how to overlay photographs with the dialogue, so just apologies, the photographs today may just suddenly go very, very quiet because I haven't figured that bit out yet. So some of my plans for the coming months, when I did my Wiltshire cycle tour visiting all the CCT churches, there was one that I couldn't get in. It's very close to where I live, up near Chippenham. It's actually on a private estate, and the people who the key holders said they would let me in, but they couldn't get there till about 11 AM, and that was just too late on that trip. So I've been kind of saving that for a rainy day or a winter's day, let's say. So that will probably be the next video. I'll ring them up and arrange to meet them at their leisure, at their convenience, and that's all I'll do on that video. Hopefully I'll be doing some winter hot tent camping, although I'm still waiting for the front rack to arrive. The delivery date keeps getting pushed back and back and back. I may have to improvise something. I'm prepared to wait, but if it's not here within the next month, I may have to improvise something on my end to get all the weights on. And then finally, I'm hoping to visit all the Churches Conservation Trust properties in Gloucestershire. I've been to several already, and they're all fairly easy to get to on day rides. So there may be one, maybe two, three on certain days. So there'll possibly be winter rides as well. Some from my home, some maybe train assisted, say from Cheltenham or Gloucester.